Richard Black moved to Maine a few months ago but had already fallen in love with its endless forests. Richard and his wife Sarah decided to move there because doctors recommended that their son Michael should live in a cool climate. He had just had a serious operation that saved his life. The whole family really liked the new place of residence. Richard often took little Michael for walks in the woods and told him about animals and plants. "Honey, how do you know so much information about the forest? You grew up in Alabama," Sarah once asked him. "I don't know. I don't remember anything about my childhood. I only know what they told me in the orphanage," the man answered. Of course, she knew the sad story of her husband. At the age of 5, he was found at the railway station. He could only tell his name and remembered nothing about his parents. Once Richard invited his son to go to the forest to pick mushrooms. Michael happily agreed. They decided to go to that part of the forest where they had not been yet. At first, the boy was walking next to his father, but then he became more confident and began to run a little ahead. Suddenly, Michael screamed and ran to his father. "Son, what happened?" Richard asked him. "Dad, what's there?" answered the son, pointing to the right. It turned out they stumbled upon an abandoned cemetery. But the most shocking thing was that on a nearby headstone, there was Richard's childhood photograph. There could be no mistake. It was him. The man didn't know what to say. "Dad, it's not you, is it?" Michael asked. He immediately recognized his father, whose childhood photographs he had seen in the family album many times. "No, it's some kind of mistake," Richard replied. When they returned home, the man told everything to his wife. "Darling, since the past has found you, take your chance and find out the whole truth about your parents," Sarah told him. Following the advice of his neighbors, he decided to visit the old-timer of the city. His name was Bob Smith. Fortunately, the old man had an excellent memory. He told Richard that there had been an illegal lumberjack camp in that forest. They cut down valuable species of wood and sold it. They were not very good people and were even capable of murder. In those places, they built a small church and made a cemetery. One of these guys started dating an orphan girl from the city. Her name was Rebecca White. After some time, she became pregnant, but her boyfriend refused to marry her. Rebecca gave birth to twins, whom she named Richard and David. Tired of living in inhuman conditions, Rebecca decided to run away. One July morning, she gathered her children and headed to the city. However, her boyfriend found out about it. He caught up with them at the edge of the forest. He immediately killed Rebecca and severely injured David. Upon hearing the shots, the locals called the police. The lumberjack was arrested. Unfortunately, David died in the hospital. As for Richard, his fate remained unknown. Listening to the old man's story, the man began to remember. He remembered running from the shots. Once at the station, he jumped into the first train that came across. That's how he ended up in Alabama. Richard felt a weight lift from his shoulders. Now he knew about his past and who his parents were. The next day, the man went into the forest and put things in order at the cemetery. He began to visit his brother's grave often, hoping that he was looking at him from heaven.